My name is Sophia Moshasha, and I'm your red carpet host for this year's 4th Annual Polly's WebXR Awards. And thank you to everyone who has come here live with us here at Planet X Studios in Brooklyn, New York, and to everyone joining us through broadcast and around the metaverse. Speaking of metaverse, we have our team coming in from the Polly's world, Inside Engage. We'll do a live check-in later. I have my co-host, Julie Smithson, here for the ceremony. Welcome, Julie. There you have Karen Alexander, another co-host of Julie and I's for XR Woman, a co-founder of XR Woman, and she's going to come on and introduce the show in a little bit. And then we have Austin Kane, Christy Fennison of Cause+Christi Immersive Design, who have been integral to this team and to the production since day one. So thank you so much, guys. We needed Kane, Austin, in the show.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And I'm going to go get ready because I'm going to be hosting the show, and we have a full red carpet today. So
yeah, thank you. All right, Karen. Come on over, Karen.
All right. Hi, Sophia.
Hi, Karen. Let's kick off the show.
Okay, let's do it. So, hi, everyone. I'm Karen Alexander, and I am delighted to welcome you to the 4th Annual Polly's WebXR Awards. You might know that the team at the Polly's relishes making the most of the immersive medium that we are gathered here today to celebrate by incorporating it into the show. Last year, we saw my XR Women co-founder and perennial Polly's host, Julie Smithson, wearing a suit in a hot tub as a volumetric capture live streamed into virtual reality as part of the Polly Awards show. We've held numerous portal crawl events as part of the Metatraversal series, where we test out the experience of moving from one virtual world to another through portals. And we talk about our collective experience and learn from that. We also have produced a live play with people in headsets on stage and others very far away participating in the same broadcast, the same live play at the same time. We know how much talent, hard work, and dedication it takes to build an ecosystem. So we are here today to acknowledge those who are doing the hard work, who are dedicated, and who have the inspiration to make this thing that we call XR, mixed reality, spatial computing, many other things, but we want to make it happen. We want to make it happen together. So as we are here tonight, gathered to celebrate, keep in mind that what we're doing here today is going to set the tone for what's ahead. You all are the trailblazers. You're the ones who are making things happen. And the values that you instantiate into the metaverse today are the ones that will be carried forward. So let's take this moment to celebrate what you are all doing. And in true Polly's fashion, we want to have fun tonight. So again, thank you for being here. And let's welcome our XR celebrities to the red carpet. Yes. Take it away, Sophia. All right, Sophia, over to you.
All right.
All right. Cause+Christi, come up on stage. I know you guys well enough. All right, Austin Kane. Okay, there we go. Austin Kane and Cause+Christi, you guys are integral to this production. You've been involved since day one and have been really pioneering the innovations that we've done here at the Polly's year after year. And I would love to know more from you guys about how you guys work together. You know, you guys are a couple, which is awesome, and you guys have created amazing immersive experiences together. So tell us about the creative process and being able to work with each other and bounce ideas off of each other to create amazing immersive experiences like where we are today.
Bob, thank you for that introduction. I would say that it helps that we both kind of know all the steps together. So we're both able to do everything kind of independently. And then when we have to like work together on a project, very nice to be able to hand things off and trust that they're going to be able to finish it.
You ever have that feeling like, I wish I could just clone myself? I feel like we feel that way in each other. Like we know we can hand off to the other, and we just get it. We get where each other's going with the design or with the storyline that we're developing. So it's been really nice to have that shared creative, technical experience.
So much fun, and it's been an honor working with you guys as well on this. So with your significant contributions to the field, where do you all see the future of immersive design and virtual events, and where is that heading?
We're really excited about the blending between the physical and the digital realm of some more mixed reality, location-based entertainment experiences. So this is just a preview where right now we're in the ship. Out of the slide from Hansen, we have folks out on the red carpet out there too in virtual together to give us as a shared experience, a shared audience in this event. So being able to blend those realities together is, I think, the West excited about.
Well, I look forward to seeing more of the innovations that you bring to the show and other immersive events that you guys design. So thank you so much for being part of it, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kiira Benzing, a visionary pioneer in the XR industry. Hi, Kiira.
Hi, Sophia. Hi, everyone in WebXR that's joining us and Engage.
So tell us a little bit more about what you do at II Studios. I know you all are pioneering specifically immersive events and multi-mediums across the metaverse. So tell us a little bit more about that.
We do love the multi of everything, the multiverse, the multiple forms of storytelling. So I'm the executive creative director and founder of II Studios, and it's a woman-owned business. On many of our productions, we staff more than 70% women in order to grow and increase diversity in both the tech and entertainment industries. We create emerging narratives with emerging technology. And we're probably best known for pioneering the renaissance of virtual reality theater that we've been seeing around the world, where we have the opportunity to blend and create our productions in social VR and in WebXR.
So I know you're collaborating with Tony Parisi on a groundbreaking opera set to be performed in the metaverse, utilizing Web3 initiatives and technology and engaging with the community through unique collaborations with NFT holders. Share a little bit about the changing landscape for just like immersive theater and immersive experiences and kind of what you're doing there with Tony.
Yes, we're working on this production with Tony Parisi called Judgment Day. It's a rock opera that's being built out of the metaverse. All of our work is being originally created and developed using different Web3 and metaverse technologies. Tony has been selling NFTs and working with the creator economy. We've been engaging those artists. In fact, we did a digital reading with performers and actors and bringing in some of the NFT and musicians and bringing them in to actually perform with us. And so it's just been really exciting to see, I think, how you can develop and look at virtual and digital space in different ways and begin your rehearsal process without having to rent a physical space.
I know it's more than just entertainment that you're doing. You're doing stuff in medical and health as well. Like, why is the web so important to be able to build in and for those applications?
Yes, we're working with some of our production partners, some of our colleagues that we create content for, like Embodied Labs or Meta. We're building virtual worlds for them, but we're also working with ways to connect to bigger audiences. And whether that's through training initiatives and they're bringing that experience into caregiving facilities, or we're connecting an audience through a live event and a live experience. The power of WebXR and social VR is tremendous because we can reach a much wider audience than we ever could before. We also have the opportunity to do a lot of our creative development process in the web environment. And that's also just been tremendous for us to innovate and initiate a lot faster than we were in the past.
Yeah, and we always talk about how the premise of XR technology is to reach a wider audience and be able to scale. But then the web creates that piece of it that really makes this all possible to more of an immense degree, I guess, right? Because you are being able to scale across multi-modalities and multi-devices, whether people are in VR or out of VR, right? You're able to engage with global communities and get them involved. How does that how does developing to the web and deploying on the web create more of an attraction, I guess, for these experiences, and I guess the promise of what the metaverse can bring to global audiences and diverse audiences?
I love what you're saying there, Sophia. I think it is about reaching a more global audience. We are able, when we're doing our live virtual theater productions, to reach audiences that are across many different time zones. So if we're producing a production like Finding Pandora X, we're able to bring in audiences from Japan, Italy, Denmark, all simultaneously. And those audiences can have these shared participatory storytelling and collaborative experiences together, where language disappears because we're really sharing this reality and existence together. And I think that's just the promise of what WebXR and these tools can give us.
Thank you, Kiira.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. I have the distinct pleasure of introducing my next guest, Tristan John, who is a multi-talented individual whose journey from music and entertainment and engineering to the forefront of WebXR development has been nothing short of remarkable. Tristan is a nominee. He is a nominee for Developer of the Year with his project Spectral Drawn and making waves in the Game of the Year category. Tristan, you are the furthest traveler, joining us all the way from Trinidad. Thank you so much.
Pleasure to be here. Having me.
So, okay, your transition from music and audio engineering to WebXR development is really fascinating. What made you want to get into XR and VR and develop on the web specifically?
Well, it actually all started with Google Cardboard, if you can remember that. About a month after it came out, I started a little company back in Trinidad where I would just go around to national locales and take 360 photos and share them and whatnot. But I was always looking for the opportunity to get into like heavier VR development. So around the time the Quest 1 came out, I was like, okay, it's going places. I got my hands on the Quest 2 and I kind of just dove right in. Luckily, I found WebXR, super great specification. And it's been like a match made in heaven. I ended up using the Wonderland engine, super performant, highly efficient engine. I did codename Spectral Dawn on there. I did Pan Studio VR. But that's kind of been my journey.
That's awesome. And what are you most looking forward to developing in the web? What in your view, what will make the web and this medium mainstream?
Exactly what WebXR really offers in terms of like portability, freedom for the manufacturer or the developer to deploy anywhere basically on the internet. Just, you provide your audience with a link and, your audience can come watch your art exhibit, your concert, whatever you want. And you don't have to go through a middleman if you don't want to, Super awesome.
Yeah. And last year we had multiple worlds that were actually interconnected with portals, and you could just jump through a portal and head into your next world. No downloads necessary, no like janky interfaces. You were just there, just like with the click of the link. So it's really, really cool to be able to be more interoperable like that. I want to say congratulations again for your nominations, and thank you again for being here.
Of course.
Thank you. All right, next we have a special guest, Micaela Mantegna. She's a distinguished scholar at the Berkman Klein Center at Harvard University. Her extensive research and advocacy work provide crucial insights into the ethical considerations and legal frameworks surrounding rapidly evolving emerging technologies. And she is being congratulated and honored this year as the Ombudsperson of the Year. So I want to congratulate Micaela on this, everybody. That's a big honor. Micaela, for those that
don't quite understand why what you're doing is so important. Can you just provide like an overview of the primary ethical concerns associated with emerging technologies?
So if we think about how the internet have evolved into these power dynamics where there are like few companies kind of like setting the rules for the space, we need to figure out how this is going to work when we see like this very immersive space that are acting on our cognition, that know a little too much about who we are, how we feel. If you have like a headset or joysticks or whatever access devices that has also some biometric capabilities to read your emotional state or your pulse or your eyes, your gaze, all of this information is going to be integrated and taken advantage by the different business models that we have seen in our current internet. So my thing is about we should care, because if we already are living in what's called surveillance capitalism, this could be increasingly worse when we think about how these immersive environments are going to act upon us and how they can transform us.
And how can companies developing immersive technologies and experiences ensure user data protection while providing personalized experiences still?
So for me, it's like there are like different avenues of concern. And that's why I believe like neuro rights is going to be like an integral part of talking about privacy and agency and how to protect who we are in these immersive spaces. And the moment that we have business models that are based on data consumption and data collection, I believe that's the problem.
What's being done, or how can international collaboration facilitate the adoption of these universal ethical standards?
You have like the ethical principles that you don't have like the tools to enforce them. And that's like a big problem. We have international human rights frameworks, we have data protection regulations, we have intellectual property regulations, but some of these are kind of like different pieces of the puzzle and nobody is integrating them. Ethics are great in principle, but we need more. We need more about in terms of regulation and not just self-regulation from the companies. Because the tensions that are going to happen in terms of money and business models, probably they're going to overrule the ethical principles in place. And again, we need to look back on what is happening in tech companies, how like the ethical AI teams are being dismantled, on how kind of like the big names in AI are kind of like setting the rules, and how this also creating a space where not another emergent players can come up. Before we open Pandora box, we need everyone on board thinking about the ethical knowledge.
Well, the good thing about this community and is that we are all on board, because we just know A, it's good for everyone, and B, that's going to create trust in deploying these technologies. And so we thank you for all the work that you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity and the platform to kind of like talk about these issues and creating this space and creating, for example, like the ombudsman, like recognizing people trying to work in this space. Because I always say, like, don't get me wrong, I love technology and I'm excited and thrilled about the possibilities that immersive experiences happen. It can bring so much good into our lives, like people that cannot move from their homes. There's like so amazing potential for education, for people to connect in a meaningful way.
All right. Thank you, Micaela, and congratulations again for your honor. You're doing incredible work for this industry and the work that we all need to progress this industry forward and create trust in this technology. And we're going to go with Sonya Haskins. Thank you.
Sonya, it's so good to have you on the show with us today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Sophia. It's great to see you. As always, great to see you.
Absolutely. But what was the pivotal moment for you in VR that you knew this technology was going to be your calling? And how has your perspective on VR changed from when you first started?
I fell in love with VR the moment I put the headset on. That was April 2017. I know exactly the moment where I was. The moment I realized that maybe I could be of use was I had qualified to compete at Oculus Connect 4 in the VR Challenger League nationals. They had a competition for esports, and I was playing Echo Arena at that time, a game for Ready at Dawn. Basically, while I was there, I realized that there was a need for people of different backgrounds, to maybe give feedback and input. So I started writing articles, and that's kind of how I got started.
You have a passion for inclusive and accessible games. You talk about this all the time. Could you share a specific story or an example where you've seen this impact firsthand?
Be like, if I'm in a chair, which I was because I'd been in a wheelchair, if I'm sitting in that chair and I want to play this game, but there's a lever up there, and all of a sudden I have to get to the next level, but I have to pull that lever. If I can't reach it or I can't make it come to me because I'm in a wheelchair or I'm in a seated position and I can't stand up, then that's a problem. And so for me, that kind of was a pivotal moment to say, wow, they don't have this perspective. Someone needs to maybe share these different perspectives with them.
So how can others in the industry contribute to advancing these technologies and making them more accessible?
You want to not create things in a bubble, and you don't want to promote them in a bubble. You want to make sure that you have, if you're doing beta tests, for example, beta tests don't need to be one group of people. It really needs to be a broad spectrum, because there may be something you never ever think about that might kind of be a challenge or an issue for some groups. So that would be my advice for trying to do that. And then developing the communities, trying to let communities kind of guide themselves, create social standards within those communities so that you have a respect for other people within that community. I never asked to be here. Like, it wasn't like I was seeking to be part of this industry or these communities or have a job in this area. I never in a million years thought I would be doing this. If you had told me 80 years ago this is what I'd be doing, I would have laughed at you. And so I think that for me, it kind of gives a special perspective that shows exactly what this technology can do to people. It can change lives, and it can change lives for the better. It can really do a lot of positive things in the world if we use it for that. So it's just really exciting. I'm really grateful to be here. So thank you.
We're grateful to have you part of the community as well, so for everything that you're doing.
Furness had some really incredible, insightful things to say about weaving the threads of humanity into technology to make it a more fun, safe, and habitable place for everyone. So I really encourage everyone to connect with the Virtual World Society and the initiatives that they're doing.
I just want to say it's a pleasure and an honor to have you here today, and we're so happy that you wanted to be with us to celebrate the achievements of XR and specifically the immersive web. I'd love to hear from you. How do you imagine people using these types of technologies?
I'm excited about the prospect that we can have an adaptation, individual adaptation of these technologies based upon our interests and based upon having an agent, an AI agent, for example, that helps us get through this morass, because it's going to be a morass. And we look at the whole internet, how much is out there, how in the world we're going to navigate that, because we need to have another thing that helps us adapt the interface in real time and filter and so that we can make use of this. Because if it's like drinking from a fire hydrant, how can we do that? It just will overwhelm us. We have even more power to use this connectivity. But in the end, to me, what we really need is to become one and be one in trying to solve the problems of our age, of our civilization. That's where I want us to be going. And part of this is, how do we connect? And the connection is certainly the technologies there connect, but the accessibility, the people to the technology, is not there yet. And so all of those idle hands around the world, if they just had the opportunity to be in that family, this connected family that we have upon the earth now, what we could do in working together, it would be amazing. The human element of this is the ultimate importance. And if it isn't serving those things, those human superpowers of imagination, of creativity, of empathy, compassion, all those kind of things, then it's not a very good tool. the interconnectivity we get with web and with the devices that convey information to our eyes and ears and hands, to our senses, and eventually to our mind and hearts. You have to have both. You have to have the distribution capability, and you have to have the devices that are in-game, that are conveyors of this. But above all, what's most important is, so what? What are we conveying? What is the message that goes in the medium? And that's really what we're about in this particular poly, in the polys of recognizing these applications, which are really the most important thing. And how does that affect us? How does that make us better people? How does that bring joy and wonder into our lives?
I'm grateful for the work that you have done and continue to do to inspire all of us. So I encourage everyone to please follow Tom, connect with him, connect with the Virtual World Society. And I want to thank you again, Tom, and thank you for presenting this year's award.
You bet. That's been fun.
So next, we are diving into an exhilarating conversation with Alvin, Wang, Graylin, and Luis Rosenberg for their book, Our Next Reality. They are two of the most forward-thinking minds in the realm of virtual reality and future technologies. They are here to discuss their new book, which promises to be a compelling exploration of the future that awaits us at the intersection of technology, society, and human experience. Their book not only delves into the technical advancements we can expect, but also raises crucial questions about the ethical, societal, and physiological impacts of these technologies. Let's roll the video.
Alvin and I structured the book as a debate where every chapter is written in two parts. And so we write separate parts of each chapter. Alvin focuses on the positive future and all the possibilities that can come out. I focus on the risks and the dangers that we need to think about and protect against. And it works out really well because we cover both sides. And it's worth saying that both Alvin and I, we both share very similar views. We both see the positives and negatives, but we take a side in the book so that we can fully explore both and do it in a way that really reads like a debate. And I think it works really well. And I think it ends up at the end giving guidance of saying, here are all the amazing positive things that we want to protect and facilitate, and here are all the risks that we need to address, or we will never fully realize the positive. I talk to regulators and policymakers all the time. I'm involved with various standards committees, and all of these groups always look back and say, yeah, like we missed the boat on social media. Let's not do that again. And so they are being more proactive, but they're not really taking into account the fact that things are also moving so much faster. But we wanted to also be really clear and paint the risks because we're talking to the industry, and we want the industry to make sure that the future that we create is safe and trustworthy and good for humanity.
Alvin, it's so awesome to have you here. As always, it's an honor to have you part of our show and to share, your knowledge with us as it relates to this new book that you and Louis published. Congratulations. Tell us, what are you most excited for in terms of what you're writing on in your book, and how does the web kind of aid in those capabilities?
Well, I mean, when we talk about the web, we talk about openness and being able to interconnect with any device. And I think that's where things are going, is that we will get to that, open, interconnected, interoperable metaverse. The ability to take any device, going to a 3D virtual world, being able to interact with anybody around the world and have a near face-to-face interaction and feel the presence of people around you, creating higher levels of fidelity, personal relationships and connections with people, thereby reducing conflict, increasing understanding, and really helping with removing a lot of the inequalities around the world, as well as improving the the mental health of people around the world. I think when we have this tool, what we can do to allow high quality education to be democratized to every single child around the world, no matter where they're born, no matter what level of access they have to, the famous institutions around the world, they can learn from the most knowledgeable teacher in the form of a, all-knowing AI. And then it's not only is it all-knowing, it's also highly patient. It is also highly personalized to the needs of that individual learner. That's going to unleash the potential of every child on this planet. And I think that's going to allow us to find the Einsteins and the Hawkings and the Tesla that used to come once in a century or once in a generation. We will find them, every month, maybe every week, and be able to create breakthroughs that just was not thought possible before.
Wonderful, Alvin. Well, thank you so much for sharing your passion and your knowledge with us. And I know I can speak on behalf of the Polys team and our audience that we're all very excited to read your book and the conversations and dialogue between you and Louis. Thank you so much for being on the show.
No, thanks for inviting me. And it was really fun working with Louis.
Joining us on the red carpet, we have Ori Inbar, a visionary who's co-founded Augmented World Expo, a prominent conference for XR and emerging technologies, and Super Ventures, a fund dedicated to fostering growth in augmented reality. Ori's work has been pivotal in helping the community understand the trends in immersive technology. So welcome, Ori.
Hey, Sophia. I once again give it up for Sophia and the whole team behind this event. I mean, this production is not virtual. It's a real production. There's people here, out there. It's amazing. I'm shocked.
So, Ori, WebXR has been hailed as a critical technology for making immersive experiences accessible to wider audiences. Can you share your experience on why WebXR is so important for the future of immersive experiences?
Yeah, I mean, we've said it all day long, and I think it's pretty simple. It's just a way to provide access to this incredible technology, to spatial experiences, to AR and VR, to a wider audience. I mean, it's just a much simpler way to access it. You don't need apps. You don't, in many cases, you don't need a special device to see it. So I think that says everything.
Yeah, definitely. And how do you see the role of device agnosticism in fostering the innovation within the economy, and what opportunities does it present?
Well, I mean, we're seeing it this year especially. This year is really started with a bang. It's a really big year for XR. Many people think it's going to be a breakthrough year for XR, with record sales for Quest, with Vision Pro hitting the market and so far making a huge splash. And when you look at, what's really the common ground across these devices and many others, it's WebXR. It's the only thing that works the same in all these devices. So I think, that ability for developers especially to build an experience once and then being able to deploy it across all devices, through WebXR is just a critical thing in the growth of this ecosystem and its success.
Absolutely. And so AWE has actually been at the forefront of showcasing the best of XR. And I hear that this year OpenXR will be there. So how do you think that standards like OpenXR influence the accessibility of the development of XR applications, and what can we expect in terms of the trends for this medium over the next couple of years?
Yeah, well, AWE this year is going to be the 15th annual anniversary, which is just incredible to see how far this industry has come. And one of first of all, we're going to a whole new venue in Long Beach, California. 2.5 times bigger, a lot more fun, and hopefully a lot more business for everyone involved. So that's already huge. But one of the themes for this event is looking back at the history of XR and building on that to create its future. And you'll see a lot of pioneers that will show up at this event. A lot of talks. There's even rumors about a museum, but you didn't hear it from me. So it's really going to be kind of a great way to look back at the history and see how we can really build things based on all this knowledge that was accumulated by all these people. And yes, OpenXR will be there. It's just confirmed last week. So they'll have some strong presence. There'll be a bunch of talks around it. So I think everybody will feel kind of the impact of WebXR across this conference. And, in terms of kind of how it affects trends, I think the main thing is what I said before, which is really the ability to run experiences across devices, across platforms, and reaching more people.
Well, we're appreciative that you are including more talks and discussions about openness and standards and the open web, because we believe here at the WebXR Awards that is where the metaverse is heading. So thank you, Ori, and the team at Augmented World Expo for really pushing the realms of what's available on XR and really educating us in this space as well about what we can expect. So I'll see you at AWE. I can't wait.
Can't wait to see you. Thank you all for being here and for running the speech.
Thank you all. So I want to welcome my next guest to the stage, Julian Reyes. He's the visionary founder of Keyframe Entertainment, a trailblazer at the intersection of electronic music, art, and cutting-edge technology. Julian's journey through the realm of VR, 3D visual worlds, and the metaverse has not only redefined immersive experiences, but also fostered a regenerative culture and community for the betterment of really our planet. So he's doing a lot in that space. So Julian, welcome to the stage, and thank you for being a part of our community and our friend group for a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
So Julian, what inspires you in your approach in creating immersive and engaging virtual experiences, given your background in the music and the arts?
Right. I think at the beginning of when I formed Keyframe Entertainment, it was really helping filmmakers and authors tell the story about community building and how there's a link between ancient shamanism and electronic music. And that's what world builders are, right? They're the shamans of the immersive world. So I see a linkage between storytelling, community building, and spirituality.
And what do you believe are the key factors that will drive the integration of XR technologies into mainstream culture and entertainment?
Oh, that's a great question. I think, first of all, we need to support the organizations that are at the forefront of what we're doing. Like this is a prime example of giving homage and honor to the ones trailblazers that are in our community, but also companies such as the XR Guild working on ethics, right, and XRA, and I'm working on the Virtual Worlds Museum, which is an organization bringing together all the knowledge for virtual worlds, and then you have the Metaverse Standards Forum and so forth. So it's really supporting those companies that are at the forefront, and then that way we can move our industry forward.
Absolutely. Anything important in driving this industry forward, you'll see Felix involved. You'll see Julian involved in these initiatives throughout the industry. So thank you, Julian, for being a part of really everything that's going on and kind of being the glue to a lot of us.
I appreciate it. I believe that community building is the way forward. So thank you very much for the invitation to speak.
Thank you. Thank you. My next guest is actually Felix Zhang. Felix, welcome to the stage. He is a member of Meta VR web platform team and an indie developer who stands at the forefront of WebXR revolution. He has been instrumental in pushing the web standards forward and has several nominations at this year's Poly Awards.
So congratulations, Felix.
Thank you very much. And I'm very excited to be here. Yeah.
Absolutely. So Felix, you have witnessed an astonishment growth within WebXR projects. Could you share the trends and innovations within WebXR that have particularly impressed you the most?
Yes. I just wanted to say that it's been great. It's been awesome in the past few years to see the significant growth in both the quality and quantity of the WebXR experiences being produced year over year. And I personally feel very blessed to be a member of the VR web platform team at Meta Reality Labs, because I get to enjoy and I get to witness the launch of these incredible WebXR projects firsthand. And as to like what is impressing me lately on these WebXR experiences, I would like to say it's not only that we are seeing a significant growth in terms of quality in these WebXR experiences that are being produced. It's also the fact that we're seeing developers taking that creative risk to venture into areas, genres, and trying out new ideas that's never been done before. And that's just awesome to see, and that puts a huge smile on my face. Yeah.
It puts a smile on my face too. It's really the reason why I choose to stay in this industry is because of people like you and the wonderful people that we surround ourselves with. So thank you all to the community for keeping us in this industry.
Thank you.
So okay, so so Felix, given your deep involvement with WebXR as an indie developer, what unique perspectives can you give developers and bring to the expansion of the innovation of WebXR developments and the things that you're working on?
Yeah, I think, well, there's a short and straight answer to this question, which is that I think there are too many of these innovations and ideas that came from the indie developer community to count or to list. But to elaborate a little bit on this, I think WebXR is a relatively new field of technology. Like many other new field of technologies, it's actually being accelerated and, in a sense, kept alive by this community of early adopters. And in our case, it is the indie game developers that first started building WebXR games. And I feel like, for me at least, I believe for myself and for many others like me, we didn't really set out with a clear agenda in mind. We just started doing it because it was fun and we love it. So I think that gives us a little power to venture into places and trying out new ideas that bigger entities or studios might think twice before they do. And a lot of ideas take root that way and finally make their way into the mainstream. And that's why I think the indie developer community is always going to be an integral part of the WebXR community, and they're going to continually bring innovations and new ideas into WebXR.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They're able to spin up proof of concepts fast, test it out, and see if it works, and actually put it into development faster than some of these bigger companies. Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so you are actually here for a lot of reasons. You're nominated for multiple awards, but we eagerly anticipate the next version of Elysian, your game. Can you share a little bit of the insights of what we can expect with that game?
Yes, I'm very excited to talk about this. So the first version of Elysian is, to me at least, I feel like it was a proof of concept. It was an experiment to prove that, yes, you can build a good, polished multiplayer shooter experience in WebXR. And for version 2, I haven't found a good name for it yet, so we'll just call it version 2 for now. This is where I'm really starting to have fun, because this is where I'm going to put a lot of the elements that is really fun to me into the game, and hopefully the players will like it too. Obviously, it's still under development, but what I can share is that I'm currently working on a hands and a carrying system, so players are no longer locked into the state where they have a shield in their left hand and the gun in their right hand. They can switch things up. They can carry multiple guns. They can dual wield. They can do whatever they like. I think it's going to be really exciting. And obviously, that's not the only thing. The version 2 is going to be a completely new game. And so if you're interested, please follow me on social media. I'll be sharing out these updates as development proceeds.
Yeah, that's super impressive for any game, and especially something in WebXR. So thank you for pushing the boundaries.
Thank you very much.
Possible there. Thank you, Felix. We'll see you later on in the show.
Yep. Thank you.
So Paradowski Creative is a design and technology firm working on the top global brands like Sesame Street and Adidas and Sony and Verizon, and is creating winning content. Last year, they took home many Polys for their game Above Par Dovsky Mini Golf. So joining us is their technical director, James Kane. Welcome. Hey, that's. So James, thank you for joining us. I am personally a huge fan of escape rooms, and what a perfect medium to recreate the concept of an escape room experience that's already supposed to be immersive. So I can just sense that VR is just the perfect medium for something like that. And so tell us a little bit about escape room and what people can expect there.
Sure, yeah. So the Escape Artist is an escape room game where you play as the muse of an artist who's become trapped in their own work. And you have to decipher clues and solve puzzles to escape back to the real world and find inspiration in this increasingly surreal environment, which I think is something we can all relate to, right?
Yeah.
After mini golf, we wanted to follow up with something that really pushed the bounds in terms of visual design, interaction design, and narrative and storytelling. And I'm happy to say we're able to do that. As an agency team, we make investments. Usually we're working with top clients around the world, as you said, but we make investments in original content like this to kind of push our skills, push the medium forward, and to just grow our reputation as one of the top shops in the business.
That's awesome. And how scary would that be to be trapped inside your own art and can't get out of it as a creator? That's awesome. So what unique aspects of Paradowski's approach of projects distinguish your work within the WebXR space and contribute to its success, actually?
Yeah, I would say people and culture. I'm lucky to be here representing not just myself, but a fantastic tech team and a fantastic design team. So my development lead, Kevin Olson, architected every game and every system in the game. He double-checked every design feature and was just totally instrumental. And on the other side, we had our VP and creative director, Andy Wise, who led a fantastic team of technical artists and UX designers and writers and art directors. And, you know, if I have a bone to pick with WebXR, I think it's that it's exclusively made by technologists at times, and sometimes you can tell. And I think as an industry, one of the best things we could do is to bring in more of our creative counterparts and full-time design professionals. And that's why our work stands out 100%.
There's nothing like collaboration in this field to make everything grow. So we heard you have something exciting to share with us tonight. Can you tell us a little bit about what's in store for the WebXR community, about your products and your latest developments?
Absolutely. Super excited to talk about this. So we have been working for the past few months and really right up before the Apple Vision Pro came out on a new hand tracking update for the game. So you can use your hands and directly interact with the game and its environment and everything. And we're excited to say we're going to release that Tuesday, March 5th, and it'll be out, soon for everybody to try on both Quest and Apple Vision Pro.
That's awesome. It's super exciting that you're making experiences like this that are actually helping to elevate the hardware devices and manufacturers, because it's content creators like you all that are going to help with reach new audiences and with accessibility and all of those things.
It's a new device. It's our first draft, and we want to get player feedback, but we're really so excited about it. It's finally fulfilling the cross-platform utility we've been talking about with WebXR for years, and I can truly say there's nothing like it on Apple's platform currently. So we're excited to get that out there.
Yeah, I liked it on MetaQuest, and I can't wait to try it on the Apple Vision Pro. Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I am thrilled to welcome a good friend of mine and a fashionista in our industry, Paige Dansinger. She's a visionary artist and technologist whose work on the intersection of VR and cultural heritage is truly inspiring. Paige's story is a powerful reminder of the potential of XR to foster connections, empathy, and social good. Welcome, Paige, and congratulations on your community honor. Congratulations. That's one of 3.
Thank you so much, Sophia.
That's amazing, Paige. So your work has significantly impacted both the XR community and broader audiences worldwide. Can you share more about how the XR community is, their ethos of care and collaboration has influenced your projects? Because I know that's a pinnacle of what you do in your work, and it's all around community. So,
thank you. Community is where it's at in the metaverse and outside. In WebXR is an incredible facilitating tool for bringing people together and creating meaningful interactions and connections.
So you transitioned from museum work to immersive technologies, and it's a huge leap. How did how your experience at the Minneapolis Institute of Art and your early experiments with iPad drawings, how did that influence your transition into the XR industry?
Museums are an incredible forefront of creative technology, and through the Museum Computer Network and Museum in the Web and Museum Next, we just created a smooth evolution inside of different social VR platforms to create Better World Museum, currently in Rec Room, Horizon Worlds, and in Roblox.
And that's precisely why you were called here for the community honor, because of everything you were doing for the community, as highlighted there. And you've highlighted the importance of community to you. So is there anyone that you would like to call out that was really special in the development in your career in the XR space?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I'd like to, I see a community of supporting friends. So I'd like to thank the Polys community, the XR women community, the Virtual Worlds Museum community, the Virtual World Society, Reality Craft, XR Guild, and of course, thank you to the supporters of the VR ARA Global Ambassador Program, the Polys, the Better World Museum, Horizon Art Museum, and Women in Horizon community.
It sounds like she rehearsed this. Yeah. Thank you, Paige. Thank you. Congratulations, Paige. So our next guest, Neil Trevett, is a luminary in the field of technology and a pivotal figure in shaping the future of the metaverse. Neil wears several hats with distinctions. He is the Vice President of Developer Ecosystems at NVIDIA, the President of Kronos Group, and the President of the Metaverse Standards Forum. His leadership brings standards organizations and the broader industry together to work towards interoperability in the metaverse, which we all know is really crucial at this point of advancing everyone's work in this space. So thank you, Neil.
Hey, Sophia.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us. So, Neil, how long have you been working in 3D graphics and XR, and how did you get involved?
Too long. I sometimes feel like the Forrest Gump of 3D. I just seem to be fortunate and being in the right place as 3D comes onto different platforms. So the first one was the PC, working with Silicon Graphics 31 years ago. As they made OpenGL the first 3D standard, and I was hoping to bring it onto the PC. Then the second platform was mobile. We saw the opportunity to subset OpenGL, bring it onto mobile. For one brief shining moment, we have one single API everywhere on every platform. And then the third platform was the web. We leveraged OpenGL, yes, being everywhere because the web has to run everywhere, and we layered WebGL on top. We created GLTF to feed the API. We kind of created this good template, I think, of having the native API standards and the web standards being layered and being cooperative with each other. And now the fourth platform, of course, is the metaverse. So we need the formats to grow up and have interactivity and physics, and this great cooperation between native and web, of course, is happening now with OpenXR and WebXR. So it's been a 31-year journey to the pinnacle of WebXR, but each time around the loop, it gets better.
Yeah, well, it's, I mean, your work is integral to the work that we're doing. It's just making it easy for us to sell in this technology and actually start developing and deploy it faster rather than having to recreate the wheel all the time. So from your perspective, working with the Metaverse Standards Forum, what are your views on how the metaverse is developing currently?
It's a journey, and we still don't have a widely agreed on definition of what the metaverse actually is. But I think that's a healthy thing. I think it's healthy to recognize that the metaverse is not some top-down plan. It's going to be a bottom-up, very Darwinian, grassroots, which is, I think, the way it should be. Well, the way, of course, we're creating this, we're bringing together multiple disruptive technologies. It's 3D, it's XR, it's Web3, it's advanced networking, everything, and AI. Let's not forget AI. Everything coming together, creating this kind of wavefront of immediate commercial opportunities for everyone. We don't have to wait 20 years for the metaverse. No, it's happening all around us. Things like the industrial metaverse. We have all the bits we need, and it's being deployed right now today. And beachhead applications like that, I think, are really creating the opportunity for new types of applications and use cases over the next few years.
And you know what? A lot of people are already using these technologies, like you said, and don't even realize that they're using metaverse technologies. And we're in it, and it's just going to continue to evolve as we go along. So we'll start recognizing it more and more from the broader community.
Yep.
Yeah.
One day we'll just wake and go, oh, it's here already.
That's right. Exactly. What have you seen that is more impressive over this year than other years?
Yeah, I think you can see the signs everywhere of the metaverse beginning to appear and be used. Just little signs, like you walk into CES in Las Vegas, just in January, the main entrance to the central hall actually had XR and metaverse up there. There's actually a lot of new XR devices, and probably more importantly, new XR applications. Of course, Apple and many others are shipping new devices. The Vision Pro, I think, is significant. Apple's doing a great job, as they always do, at education and visibility. A lot of chatter around spatial computing. Is it that different to the metaverse? I think it's actually entirely consistent. XR is the device, and spatial computing is using the device for a user interface, and then the metaverse is connecting you up with other spatial users. So I think it's all aligning up. There's at the forum, I've been super impressed by all the standards organizations actually willing to reach out across their silos into other organizations in fields like avatars, wearables, industrial metaverse, education, 3D asset format. And the 3D asset format interoperability group, chaired by Patrick over here, is going to be on stage in just a moment. The really making a difference. The AOUSD Alliance for USD ship. USD is going to be a really important 3D standard. If we hadn't had the forum, I honestly believe when they launched the SIGGRAPH, we would have had the antibodies would have come out. GLTF and USD would be kind of fighting each other, and the press would be making a big thing. We'd actually been talking to each other for a whole year, those two communities in the forum. So when it launched, both communities were there patiently explaining how actually these are complementary and we're going to work together. So it's really making a difference.
And it is great that you guys are reaching out to the community for input in that, because really it's the input of those that are creating that you can make better decisions on standardization and the things that you need to bring forward.
Sure.
And do you want creators to actively reach out to you? How can they get involved in the things?
Oh, please reach out to us. As we the standards community makes for these standards, we absolutely need the developers and the creators to get involved, because you are the ones that keep us grounded and make sure that the standards are actually meeting the real needs of the industry. You'll be surprised. Every standards organization finds it really hard to get input from the real end users. So please find your local standards organization, the one that you care about the most, or join the forum. Join the Metaverse Standards Forum. It's free, open to everyone, and we'll be glad to hook you up.
Yeah, lots of great knowledge, definitely. Thank you so much, Neil.
Sure.
Congratulations to your
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, I am thrilled to announce Darin Friedman, the co-founder of Planet X Studios, who's here with us and is producing this show for us live here today. Thank you, Darin, for being a part of this initiative and this movement with us.
Thank you. This is very exciting.
Sure. So, Darin, this year's show has seen us push the boundaries with some truly remarkable virtual production techniques. Can you go into a little bit of the innovative features and creative elements that you've woven into the show?
Sure. Well, first of all, we're so glad to be able to host the awards here. This year, the Polys. This is an exciting live event, lots of different things coming together. So what we've tried to do this year is we do a lot of live virtual production using Unreal Engine. And so we have this virtual stage with camera tracking, kind of Mandalorian style tech. So we've really tried to see how we can integrate this real-time technology with what you're trying to do with the polys and bringing in remote contributors. And so it's a lot of moving parts, but we're trying to see how we can bring all this technology together to create a more unique experience.
And it is, and it's super impressive. And how do you see this technology involving the future of entertainment and award shows like this?
I think there's going to be a lot more of this, especially I know a lot of people are talking about, the Apple Vision Pro and all these other technologies coming out recently. And we working with a lot of clients. They don't even know where this technology is going. They just want to be a part of it. So they're asking us, how can we help develop applications, develop new experiences, leveraging all this technology? Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of customers out there are much more willing to try cutting edge technologies like this to just kind of see where it goes because they don't want to be left behind.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Darin.
Hi, Sophia. I have to apologize. Yeah. Hi, everyone. We have to steal this gentleman because we have an award show to do. So I wanted to stay and do some questions with you, but we're going to go have an award show.
Director of the Polys.
Hi, everyone.
Show my
Time for Evo. So let's go on.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. All right. And that concludes our red carpet. Thank you so much for joining me for this first hour-ish. And next we'll have Julie Smithson coming on to start the ceremony. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Hello, everyone. I'm Julie Smithson, and welcome to the 4th Annual Polys. We're back to celebrate last year's achievements in the immersive web. Tonight, we celebrate the foundation of the digital future we are all building, with 3 Honorees awards and 7 competitive experience categories. Plus, for the first time, we'll be celebrating a native app experience with the XR Elevation Award for Advancement of the Medium. 2023 reminded us why we do this show. The themes we represent have been reoccurring: the agency of developers, their freedom to publish, and their ability to make a living. That their content be durable is our rallying cry. And we're not going to stop calling it the metaverse. I'm going to build a world in the spatial computing, said no one ever. But as Morpheus taught us, you cannot be told what it is. You have to experience it for yourself. And that's what we're here for, to celebrate these experiences. We are students of history, and we are strategists for the future. In the early days, we rushed to get audio, video, and animation on the web. We used authoring tools that don't exist anymore, that only worked on players that don't exist anymore, and as a result, that content doesn't exist anymore. And with it, the investments in that content, in the skills it took to create it,
and its legacy all went away too. Last year, we held a funeral for AltSpace VR, and recently, Mozilla Hubs announced that it too will be shutting down. This reminds us of the fragile impermanence of infrastructure on the frontier. When prairie towns died, their people didn't. They just moved on and formed their communities elsewhere. And so do we. Indeed, the 3D web is our commons. This exciting, pivotal moment in human history is something we embrace. It's the convergence of many technologies together, powering these experiences, empowering us and changing everything, that we can be everywhere without going anywhere. It changes how we think about time and space. The idea that we can be inside the internet together is so powerful. Browsers are places we can go inside of, and they render content into the world around us. This power of immersion gives us a whole new way of connecting and collaborating with each other, and ability to create worlds and experiences never before possible. Immersive content is still in its infancy, and like the saying goes, if you know, you know. And we know that this new canvas is going to unlock entirely new domains of human imagination, creativity, and potential. Every year, we celebrate our community to recognize the people driving this movement and preserve their contributions and legacies for this wondrous future we're building together. I'm Julie Smithson, and you're watching the Polly's 4th Annual WebXR Awards. Now it's time to kick off the show, and I'm happy to welcome back Clayton Banks, the CEO of Silicon Harlem and the founder. And the founder of See Better Foundation, our ambassador to this year's Polly's, because it's time to move fast and make things. Clayton, you do need a microphone, so we do need to make sure that everybody can hear you, and then you can tell us why.
Are we working on this one? Oh, good. Hey, everybody. Come on, wake up, everybody. What's going on here? Really? This is phenomenal. This is great. And where's Darin? Darin, I want one of these. Wherever you are, please, I'd like to get one of those. So, first of all, yes, my name is Clayton Banks. I'm the CEO of Silicon Harlem. I've been around digital media for over 30 years, and I'm only 29. I don't know how that happened. But there's a word that you might have heard what Julie said was a word, movement. And movements are powerful, right? Movements change the world. Immersive content is the next movement of digital media. It's an occasion for us all to rise to. When we built the internet, we were encouraged to move fast and break things. And we did. Now we're living in what we want to call the creator economy. Now it's time to move fast and make things, rather than trying to explain what the metaverse is, a work in progress. Let us talk about what we want the metaverse to be and how we get there together, right? This all starts with a yes, we need that. This all starts with a connection. That's a big thing for me. Connecting to the internet is no longer something that is nice to have. The internet is now part of the fabric of our society. And if you don't have it, you aren't a second-class citizen. You ain't a citizen. You aren't a citizen. Let's make the metaverse that everyone has access, right? At Silicon Harlem, our mantra is everything will be connected and everyone needs a connection. This virtual universe we're building with spatial computing is this next iteration of the internet. It doesn't matter if your content is consumed in a browser or a native app. It doesn't matter if your experience is hosted in the cloud or on-prem. It is the internet that connects me to you and you to me and everyone else in our human family. Without connectivity, we will have no metaverse, and the metaverse will not be complete without you. What is a protopian vision of the metaverse? What does a virtual universe that we can proudly bequeath look like? It is you, makers and creators and developers, who get to help shape that future. I'm talking to you, the visionaries, the dreamers, the architects of tomorrow. I'm talking to you, the startups poised to disrupt the status quo, the Googles, the Facebooks, and Amazons of tomorrow. Move fast and make things with purpose. And a mind to build a metaverse we all want. Whatever we call it, we are the forebearers of a new construct that is radically altering civilization. And it's up to us, all of us, to pull that together in a way that we think of it thoughtfully, responsibly, and my very special word, equitably. Thank you very much. This is a great, great day. And thank you, Julie, for all that you've given for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Clayton. That's right. We're not building the metaverse for the few. We're building it for all of us. Thank you for all that you do at Silicon Harlem and the See Better Foundation to connect us all. And now, we'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Cesium. Good evening, everyone. My name is Janine, and I'm a 3D software developer at Cesium, a tech startup in Philadelphia specializing in geospatial and 3D graphics. I'm happy to be here tonight to show our support for the Polys and for the WebXR community. The Polys not only recognize the hardworking individuals and studios that are tonight's nominees, they also celebrate open source software and ecosystems and uplift grassroots development. And this resonates with us at Cesium, where we believe that openness, interoperability, and community are vital to advancing the technological future. To become the platform we are today, Cesium has invested in open standards to promote interoperability, including GLTF and 3D tiles. We built a WebGL-based engine, Cesium.js, as well as integrations with Unreal Engine, Unity, and NVIDIA Omniverse, with the goal of enabling users to visualize geospatial data in their software of choice. All of our runtimes are free and open source and equip developers with what they need to build awesome applications with real-world data in a wide variety of industries, from aerospace to education to AEC. Work like this is what drives Cesium to iterate on our technology and continually empower our users. Our community provides us with priceless feedback, suggestions, and goals that we incorporate into our future work. When we promote openness, we lower the barriers of entry and invite collaboration and innovation in the community. When we invest in interoperability, we
unlock avenues that benefit creators and users of software. And by nurturing the growth of a larger ecosystem, we encourage faster and more robust technological progress. We work so the community can work, and altogether build impactful and transformative software for the future. That's why we're delighted to support the Polys and the people here tonight. This includes tonight's nominees, but also extends towards those working towards recognition in the future, as well as the attendees in person and online, and the broader WebXR community. Last but not least, we want to give a shout out to Ben, Julie, and team for putting the Polys together in the first place and establishing the space. Where grassroots developers and communities get to be in the spotlight. Thank you for your time, and good luck to tonight's nominees. Our first Poly of the night is our Community Honor, which was first awarded to Trevor Flowers 2 years ago. Last year, Trevor chose Ivo Heyning for her leadership with XR Guild, the Open Metaverse, Interoperability Group, and our series Metatraversal. And tonight, Ivo will present her choice for the 2023 Community Honor, and she is here tonight directing tonight's show. Welcome, Ivo.
Thank you, everyone. It's my honor to be here today. And thank you, all of you, for all you do to this community. Announcing our Community Award winner is a big part of why I wanted to be here personally with you tonight, because this person represents the best of our industry across designers and creators. It was my honor to be the recipient last year, and I'm so excited to be here with you tonight at Planet X Studios. The Community Award recognizes the amazing work of organizers, curators, engagement-focused avatars across worlds who invite others into new experiences. The power of virtual and XR communities has shaped our field over the last 20 years, and I'm honored to bring one of the best community organizers, curators, and creators I've known in this field. Paige Dansinger is going to come to the stage and receive the 2023 Community Award for her work on Better World Museum. Over the last few years, I've seen Paige's tireless work across Horizon Worlds, in VR, in Web Worlds, and across platform, from XR Women in Engage to our friends at MetaCities, leading conversations and curating amazing experiences with the public. She works with talented artists at every stage in their careers, from those just starting to make flowers in VR to enabling creative teams to make museums, such as our current collaboration on the Virtual Worlds Museum. So tonight, it is my honor to welcome Paige Dansinger to the stage to receive our Community Award. Paige?
Thank you. Congratulations.
So excited. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ivo.
All right. This is your award.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I've always wanted this award. I just didn't realize it. I want to thank each person who has participated in Better World Museum. We even have one participant here tonight, Angel Artist. Each person who has participated, supported, liked, shared, or wanted to learn more, this award is really for you. The metaverse, the WebXR space, and all of WebXR, spatial computing, and all of the adjacent technologies, it's really just tools to create spaces that are of, by, for all. Together, we are making a better world. Thank you.
The Developer of the Year is a staple category of the Polys. The purpose of this show is to recognize not only the amazing WebXR experiences, but more importantly, the people who build them. Our next presenter is a leading expert in human-digital interaction
and little did she know the impact she's had on the Polys. At our second Meta Traversal show, Nicole Lazzaro, president and founder of Exio Play, spoke about mental agency as it relates to the participant in an XR experience. So we took that inspiration and made it the theme of the second Polys about the agency of the developer. We've since run with that, and it's become part of who we are. We're delighted to have Nicole with us to share the nominees for Developer of the Year.
Well, thanks, Julie. As we say every year, this category is not about one developer being better than another. We couldn't possibly recognize all the great talent out there. Instead, we want to spotlight a few exemplary developers whose WebXR experiences showed us more of what's possible. We want all developers everywhere to know that we see you. And we thank you. And as we all follow the white rabbit, to build spatial computing, metaverse, immersive web, whatever you want to call it, we want everyone to keep being inspired by each other. And so the nominees for WebXR Developer of the Year are Felix Herbst. Last year, Needle Tools was nominated for Innovator of the Year and its mixed reality experience, Monster Hands. Felix earns the Developer of the Year award nomination through his work with prefrontal cortex on DigiVid 19, which is in for mixed reality as well as experience of the year. And Felix Zhang. Felix is part of the browser team at Meta Reality Labs, where he created the Immersive Web Emulator, which is up for Innovator of the Year, and Elysian, which is up for Game of the Year. Felix will also be presenting Mixed Reality Experience of the Year for us tonight. Josh Field. Ethereal Engine's Josh Field, otherwise known as Hexafield, is regarded as a beast for his prolific commit history as the leading contributor to Ethereal Engine's MIT licensed open source WebXR platform, which is used in 2 nominated experiences this year: Big Rock Creative's T-Mobile for Business Experience and AR Shopping, and 5 other nominations last year. Pretty incredible, huh? Elia Duchesky, aka Signor Pipo, who brought us the novel WebXR experience, Labby Roots and Mr. Not Enough is Enough, built with Wonderland Engine. Elia was a key contributor to Hoverfit, which is thrice nominated for Game, Entertainment, and Experience of the Year. Tristan John. This music producer from St. John, Trinidad and Tobago, fell in love with WebXR and started building in Wonderland Engine, where he created the twice-nominated Pan Studio for entertainment and mixed reality that lets you learn to play the steel pan drum, and for the very slick codename Spectral Dawn first-person shooter experience, Escape Room Hybrid. And James Kane, who brought home last year's Game of the Year Poly for Paradowski, creative with the golf game Above Par, Paradowski, where he created new techniques in texture optimization and which he used to create the very intricate experience, The Escape Artist, which is also thrice nominated for Game, Entertainment, and Experience of the Year. And the winner of WebXR Developer of the Year is Felix Zhang.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh, wow. I'm very happy right now. I'm really honored to be here, and I'm really happy right now. It's only a little awkward because I really didn't think I was gonna win this thing. So, my brain is calculating I need to thank a few people, and as I decide who those people are, let me give a shout out to my fellow nominees because you guys are awesome and you do so much awesome work, and thank you very much for pushing WebXR forward. And shout out for, not letting me think I was going to win this one. So Thank you very much. Yeah, and okay, now I know who to thank. So first of all, I wanted to thank my wife, who is watching at home, and she also works in the field of XR, and I'm thanking her because she's been my first playtester, willingly or unwillingly. Let's be honest, unwillingly most of the time, but thank you very much, Elaine, for your support and help. That's awesome. And secondly, I wanted to thank my team at Meta, and it's actually a great pool of talent that I've learned so much from, and it's a platform where I thrived, and thank you very much for that. And finally, I wanted to thank the production team for putting together such a wonderful show. And I want to thank Ben in particular for creating such a wonderful platform to celebrate the progress we've made. It's awesome. Yeah. And that's it.
And here's your very cool trophy. You have to take the whole thing with you, and no, that's okay. Pass it off there, please. Great. All right. Last year, a few of us were treated to a limited run immersive experience that was transformative. A singular achievement so profound, the Polys has to recognize it. It doesn't fall into a competitive category because it has no competition. VR veterans were awestruck, but there's just one thing. It was not WebXR. What? Well, folks, it's time to share something with you all. That this award, here and now, we begin to broaden the scope of the Polys. And for the first time, we are going to honor a native app immersive experience. That's right. With this new category, the XR Elevation Award for Advancement of the Medium, the Polys is expanding beyond WebXR. But more on that later. In the spirit of transparency, this award is going to one of our partners, Engage XR, where as we speak, we're holding a watch party in our theater on the amazing platform, where XR Women holds our weekly meetups and we host our annual charity golf event, Ready Player Golf. And that's not going to stop us from recognizing their achievement so epic. We just have to celebrate it. Here to present this honor to Engage XR, where Fatboy Slim, Eat, Sleep, VR, Repeat, is someone who was there and experienced something truly special. Andy Fidel, founder of Spatial Networks.
Thanks, Julie. I feel like the people who were there are members of a very special club because we truly shared a moment together. So where do I begin? How about riding on the backs of cockroaches and jumping them over ramps on a diner countertop? Or riding on the backs of Sasquatches at Mount Rushmore to the Greta Thunberg remix right here, right now, before the aliens came to rapture up members of the audience. We skydived with Fatboy Slim, we danced on a disc in a disco, and we got to ride on a Mad Max Fury Road convoy, bit of a Burning Man-style parade float with Easy Rider and a gorilla. This wasn't just virtual reality. It was surreality, which reminds us of a point about this technology that is so often lost when we're trying to recreate the real world in the metaverse. Because we can do anything in VR. Kent Bai called it the most amazing VR concert experience I've had so far. Charlie Fink said it was one of the best things I've ever experienced in VR, a jaw-dropping musical journey. And the Poly says it deserves the XR Elevation Award for the advancement of the medium. So congratulations to everyone at the team at Engaged who worked on this, and to Norman Cook, Fatboy Slim himself, on this extraordinary collaboration that will go down in the annals of this medium as a groundbreaking technical and creative achievement.
Hello, I'm delighted to accept this award on behalf of the Engage XR team.
it was an amazing experience to have all the members of the public come in and try out the experience and have a great deal of fun in a very kind of strange and unusual experience. And I'm actually joined here by another David James, head of content development, and actually one of the lead creatives on the end experience. Dave?
Yeah, it was fantastic to work together with Norman on the project, and we were delighted to see how well received and how much people enjoyed the night, and it was quite a party. So thank you very much, and delighted that you enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, thank you.
What inspired the shared collaborative experiences?
Well, we'd experienced, and of course we looked at the other concerts that were out there in VR, but I really felt what was lacking was we weren't taking advantage of the potential of the medium, because I've worked in games for a long time, and really the fun thing about any sort of interactive experience you have is like you're taking center stage.
I didn't want to repeat what was happening in other VR concerts where they tried to replicate a real concert. But what we wanted to do was give something completely different, where it did start off like a normal concert, but then gradually it went crazier and crazier.
And personally, what's your favorite part of the concert?
I actually enjoyed the audience reaction, freaking out when they started skydiving. So I like joined a few sessions just to see people's reactions, and then hearing the crowd enjoying it and like people smashing the lights in their sitting rooms as they were going crazy dancing. So I was like, okay, we succeeded. That was good.
When I think of Engage, I think of beautiful campuses. I think of super user-friendly and functional, which is most important, hosting tools and dashboards and all this data of like what device people are wearing, like a really complete platform in terms of education, enterprise, and all of that. And so what inspired the team to just go all in with entertainment?
Well, that was just kind of, it was on a whim from me because I'm a massive Fatboy Slim fan. And I could see all these concerts happening on all different platforms like Allspace and Fortnite and Roadblocks. And I was just sitting there going, I think we could do a better job if we have the right artists. So I reached out to Norm and his team, well, his management. I had a bit of an in there. There was someone who knew someone. So we got in touch. We were talking, actually, we met his manager. We sent him over a headset. We met him inside Engage. And we were chatting to his manager for a while, but we didn't know he was actually standing next to Norman. And then the manager said, oh, hang on a moment. And he stuck Norman in the headset. And we had a brief conversation with Norman, and we brought him flying, and we showed him a really rough prototypey thing that we built, and the conversation started from there.
People that are just starting out with immersive tech and they're trying to make immersive experiences, but what would be like pieces of advice in terms of making a really impactful and memorable VR immersive experience?
It's not what it looked like, it's how it made you feel, and that's what makes you remember the experience.
Put the player first, because it's you can do absolutely amazing and beautiful animation and stuff, but unless the player feels like they've made a mark or done something or joined in on it, it's not going to be memorable for them. So like say in skydiving, in the skydiving section, you can fly about and you can actually fly right up to Norm as he's doing the decks, so you feel like, oh wow, I've got agency in this world.
In our most eclectic category, we celebrate those who weren't content to hurry up and wait, who identified a need and filled a void. Here to present Innovator of the Year is our friend who has spent years out on the vanguard of XR, sharing the innovations of our community as they happen. Please welcome Tom Emrich of Niantic, whose Experience Wall is nominated in 4 categories tonight. Thank you so much for being here, Tom.
Thanks, Julie. Necessity is the mother of invention and the grandmother of innovation. We're living in an era of innovation as this convergence of technologies is creating opportunities to reinvent and remix how content is made, tested, and consumed. Our Innovator of the Year category isn't an apples-to-apples comparison of like-kind contributions to the advancement of our ecosystem. It's a special bucket where we recognize the outside-the-box thinkers who solved a problem some of us didn't even know existed for the betterment of the medium and of our community. And the nominees for Innovator of the Year are HeyVR.io by Mark Newhoff and Fairy Apt. Hey, what's a 2D website doing here? Well, let me tell you. HeyVR is a visionary portal for WebXR games that helps solve two of the very most important things lacking in WebXR: content discovery and monetization. HeyVR aggregates the best of WebXR games, providing a way to find them and for creators to get paid. 3D Street Viewer by Kiira Benzing. It's an app that lets you edit maps in 3D with layers while immersed in your headset. It's something you don't see very often in WebXR, a tool with gizmos and multiple views with a Google Maps integration. We expect this innovator to inspire others to build immersive content editors. Frame. We've been watching Frame grow since it was nominated at the Polys, and Gabe Baker was our first winner of Developer of the Year. Under his leadership, we watched Frame steadily grow and expand in utility, stability, and scalability. Feature after feature, month after month, year after year, the Frame team's incremental build, test, deploy process doesn't keep you waiting for big releases. It climbs the mountain one step at a time to look down and see the robust platform it's made. Immersive Web Emulator by Felix Zhang at Meta Reality Labs. This innovation solves for one of the most challenging aspects of building WebXR content: testing. The built-in inspector is a crucial tool for developers, and it's very difficult to replicate in a VR environment. Instead, the Immersive Web Emulator takes the approach of replicating VR functionality on desktop, so developers can do basic debugging without having to don and doff their headset every time. Fiverr's Online Festival. OG XR community leader and 2021 Creator of the Year, Karen Maliki Sanchez, and masterful WebXR developer, James Baikoyanu. The Festival of Virtual and Augmented Reality Storytelling went virtual during the pandemic, forcing them to create technical solutions that had yet to be addressed in WebXR, such as supporting 5.7K spherical stereoscopic video, full dome, and multiple barcode escape and projection mapping formats with ambisonic audio support and automatic VR headset detection. And Arrival.space. The team of Lisa Maria Werzinger, Garo Egger, and Thomas Riker Trumer bring us an innovative form of metaversal traversal in WebXR with iframes, that you can actually see through a door into another world and make it easy to come and go from one virtual space to another. This portal of portals lets you set up your own world where you can share the link and visitors can walk from one to another. We're going to look back on this one and remember how ahead of its time it truly is. And the winner of Innovator of the Year is Frame by Gabe Baker and the Frame team.
Hey everyone, Gabe here, and I heard that I won the Innovator of the Year award at the Polys, the Fantastic WebXR Awards. And apologies that I couldn't accept in person, a bit of a hectic day with this one. But I want to say a few things. The first is that, of course, I'm but an avatar for the whole Frame team, really. And they are an incredibly skilled and dedicated set of developers and artists. And yeah, couldn't be prouder of them and our product as it's evolved over the years. And then the other thing I want to say is that as far as we've come over the past 4 or 5 years, I think that over the next year or two, you're going to see a heck of a lot more. And I say that because I think there's a bit of I feel the ground's changing beneath my feet. There's sort of this tectonic shift in computing happening with AI and technologies like WebGPU, and we have really big, bold, ambitious plans, and I'm so excited to get them off the ground and into the product. So with all that said, thank you again. I can't wait to tell the Frame team about this. They're going to be thrilled, and I can't wait to show you what's coming up next for frame. Alrighty, bye.
Congratulations to Gabe Baker and the team at Frame.
All right, to us folks out on the frontier of the immersive medium, one thing is as obvious as it is inevitable. Spatial content is the future. Once upon a time, radio, cinema, television, and the internet all went through decades of growing pains. Visionary creators invented the tools they needed to tell stories that transported imaginations and riveted attention within a 2D frame. Here to present our next category is someone who understands how 3D experiences are changing the very nature of entertainment by taking you inside the frame. We're honored to have Joanna Popper to share with us the nominees for Entertainment Experience of the Year. Thank you, Joanna. Welcome to the Polys.
Thanks, Julie. Hooray for Pollywood. We call entertainment an industry because it's a massive economic engine built on creativity. We sit and watch the credits of a feature film with budgets of hundreds of millions, and we see the names of thousands of people scroll by who we support with our tickets and our subscriptions. It's been almost 100 years since the first movie with sound or the first Oscars. But when we look back at the history of cinema behind us, we can see the future of immersive content unfolding in front of us. And that's why it's so important right now for us to celebrate in this moment the creativity, the innovation, and the history being made by interactive, immersive content. And here we nurture this young medium while it grows up and takes its place in the ongoing evolution of entertainment to fuel the economic engine of the future. And now, the nominees for the Entertainment Experience of the Year are The Escape Artist. What do you do when you find yourself in a room with no doors, like you're in a dream? That's a puzzle, and you need to figure out what to do next. Paradosky Creative's Escape Room shows the refinement of WebXR in 2023 in this compelling artistic experience. Wall. Seeing a portal to the redwood forest open up in your living room where trees rise far beyond your ceiling, a taste of what mixed reality makes possible. And then a friendly AI-powered talking owl flies into your room and has a conversation with you, waxing eloquent about ecology. And now you can start to understand how the power of entertainment and education in WebXR is only beginning to flex its muscles. Now, speaking of muscles, HoverFit. Entertainment can be physical, and it makes exercise fun. You'll be surprised what happens when you mix sci-fi with cardio and power a hoverboard and steer it with your body in this multiplayer, multimodal, competitive experience by the fitness resort. Dead Secret Circle. This experience combines several entertainment genres, including mystery, horror, and puzzle. Timothy Sarkis-Koke took Mo Bassam's work at Robot Innovator and ported the Steam VR experience to WebXR, so you play detective in this thriller. T-Mobile for Business 5G track at the Las Vegas Grand Prix, trademark, by Big Rock Creative, built on Ethereal Engine. Yes, the future of advertising is immersive too, and T-Mobile planted a flag as the largest advertiser yet to leverage WebXR. Someday, immersive advertising is going to be its own category, and we'll remember it started here. Pan Studio VR. Tristan John's experience lets you entertain yourself as you learn to play the pan steel drum. You can change what kind of drum to play, turn on and off the notes, or toggle different environments, or turn them off altogether, which earned this another nod in the mixed reality category.
And the winner of Entertainment Experience of the Year is The Escape Artist by Paradosky Creative. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Very much. Thanks.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks to the WebXR Awards for having us and for this honor. Thanks to our partners at the Meta Browser team, including Felix. Thanks to our partners at Wonderland Engine, who did a fantastic job, and we wouldn't have been able to do this in another engine. Most importantly, thanks to our amazing Paradowski creative team. I talked about Kevin and Andy earlier, but we've got an amazing crew of writers like Emily Beale and UX designers like Corey Helling, producers like Madeline Sutherland, just an amazing crew of people who made this game possible and made it happen. So thanks to everyone.
Congratulations. All right, we're just going to take a moment to thank our sponsors.
About time that Hollywood had this South by Southwest feel here. Feel here.
Eye tracking isn't coming, it's here. The Quest Pro, the Apple Vision Pro, and other devices on the market use eye tracking to enable necessary functionality, like emoting with our faces, and even controlling the device itself using gaze. This isn't the first time we made privacy concessions for convenience, like that trade-off we made when we started carrying a map in our pocket that always knows where we are. Now we are wearing sensors on our face that map our rooms outwardly and look inward to very precisely measure our biometrics to give us things we want, like realistic avatars that convey our expressions and physicality. To enable this new technology, there are boundaries that should not be crossed that concern our privacy, our safety, our human dignity, and our agency. We like to say what happens in the headset stays in the headset. And luckily for us, we have people out there and organizations like the XR Guild, XRSI, XR Village, and Responsible Metaverse Alliance who are advocating for the companies that are building this gear to do the right thing. Our Ombudsperson of the Year category is for those guardians who speak up for our rights. Here to present this year's Poly is last year's Ombudsperson of the Year, Britton Heller.
From Kent Bai to Ori Inbar to me, I'm pleased to pass the mantle of Ombudsperson of the Year to a very special individual who has made her mark as a gamer, a lawyer, and an ethicist in emerging technologies. Micaela Mantegna, an intellectual property attorney from Argentina. When I first met Mika, I was dumbfounded that a person could have such a deep engagement with XR, with gaming, with the law, and be so grounded in communities and be so fun, to be honest. Her work has been inspirational all throughout Latin America and has exemplified to me the need to take these technologies to a global scale and include everyone in the conversation. Her recent book has been transformational, and I'm very pleased that she has decided to accept this honor so that she can instruct us how to create an XR space for everyone.
Thank you, everyone. First of all, I want to thank Britain Heller, not just for the nomination, but for her continuous and critical work in this space. Also extend this gratitude to past honorees Ken Bai and Avi Barsiv. My imposter syndrome self can't believe being in the company of all of you in receiving this honor. And of course, to Ben, Sophie, and all the team for producing this award, and to my partner, Marcelo Rinesi, my family, and my beloved cats that are the warp core that power everything I do. As we were saying, the metaverse is still a work in progress. We have a monumental task ahead, trying to create an ethical digital future where our autonomy is protected, preserving the best of what makes us human, with creativity, ingenuity, and empathy. I often say that we are not born equal into the metaverse, and that in its current path, you will only be as free as you can afford to pay. How this collective dream of an unbound digital space where we could be able to be anyone or create anything free of the constraints of the physical world ends up creating a digital future of artificial scarcity. Why are we carrying on the inequality when we have this beautiful digital canvas to unleash the unlimited possibilities of a post-scarcity economy? I'm a geek and a startup fan, so I dream about this kind of future. If you remember the next generation, nobody assumed that the enterprise computer was spying on them. How would that look now, and why do we have to conform to the metaverse worlds creeping into our most intimate thoughts and actions? Technology should not be for only those who can afford it. Technology should not be designed by a few, dictating how the rest of us can use it. Technology should not be surveillance by design, a profit as an end goal. How do we make it back? How do we reclaim this web and the next iterations of it? My late grandmother had a saying, the path to hell is paved with good intentions. Every small act has consequences. Let's cultivate in our work and practices the ethics of individual choice or collective resistance. Let's think the bigger picture, the impact and ramifications of our decisions, and who can be heard for that. If I only have one wish, let it be more Star Trek and less cyberpunk. Thank you so much.
Okay, it's time for Game of the Year. The crop of WebXR game experiences from 2023 leveled up big time. And this year, our presenter is a gamer. Here to share the nominees is Sonya Haskins, Head of Programming for AWE. We're so glad to have you here. Thank you for being with us, Sonya.
Thanks, Julie. It's fantastic to be here with you guys. We could almost have Escape Room of the Year category, as there were 3 experiences with puzzles to solve, which was fun. There are also a couple of first-person shooters and a first-person shooter escape room. So that was interesting. All of these, of course, have in common, what they all have in common is the fact that they are games. And the graphics and interactivity for WebXR gaming has gotten much better. I personally enjoyed going in and checking out each of these experiences. It was really great. And it also won Software of the Year 2 years ago. So the nominees for WebXR Game of the Year are Elysian by Elixir Games and Developer of the Year nominee Felix Zhang. Arm yourself with blasters and patrol a space station that's overrun by robot drones. Luckily, you have a shield to deflect their laser blasts, and you can try to shoot them before they shoot you. I never managed to get very far in this because I kept getting killed, but it was a lot of fun. Code name Spectral Dawn by Developer of the Year nominee Tristan John. Armed with a pistol that's also a flashlight, you have to get past obstacles and solve puzzles to proceed on your mission. Sometimes you just have to shoot your way through, and when you run out of bullets, you just recharge them on your wrist. This is a very exciting and fun game. The Escape Artist. This retro chic escape room is by Herdowski Creative, which won Game of the Year last year. This puzzle is difficult, but you have hints and clues to help you figure out this intricately designed experience. It's a lot of fun and has carefully designed textures and sounds. Dead Secret Circle. This original Steam VR game, originally by Robot Invader, has been faithfully adapted to WebXR by last year's developer nominee Timmy Sorscoot Koki. This escape room is a noir detective horror experience that takes you back to Chicago 1970, where you need to solve a murder mystery. It's incredibly scary, but a lot of fun. F60 by Ariel Cohen. This scary escape room is set in a prison cell where you have to solve the code to unlock the safe. But if you run out of time, you might get carried away, literally, as they drag you off to who knows where. Our final nominee, HoverFit by Fitness Resort. Lean into this fitness app using your upper body and a cross-country skiing motion to build speed and momentum as you race down a track. You can even compete with other players. I tried repeatedly to get my name on the leaderboard, but was never successful. And the winner of WebXR Game of the Year is The Escape Artist by Kerdowski Creative.
Grab the mic.
Congratulations.
Hi, you again. Hello. Thanks, everybody. Game of the Year means a lot to us. We won it last year, and I guess this is 2 in a row, so we will be going for the 3-peat next year. Look out. Look out. It's going to be fun. While I have another second, I do want to take a moment to thank our company leadership. Gus Hadrick, our president, and our VP, Andy Wise. They established this team years ago and gave us the freedom and space and creative, capability to move stuff like this forward. And they've allowed all this investment and see the wisdom in doing it. And so thanks to those guys. And again, thanks to the rest of the team. Thanks to you all.
Congratulations.
All right. Well, we changed this next award's name again. 2 years ago, we had to scrounge just to find enough nominees for Augmented Reality Experience of the Year because AR in WebXR was that brand new. It was first presented by Ori Inbar, who is here tonight. Hi, Ori. Then last year, we called it AR Pass-Through Experience of the Year, as we finally had color video of our surroundings. The quality is now so much better. This year, we're going to call the category Mixed Reality Experience of the Year. Tune in next year to what we call it then. We met our presenter on the red carpet, and the nominee, Felix Zhang, software engineer at Meta Reality Labs, who is here to announce this year's nominees. Felix, thank you so much for presenting for us. We're honored to have you here.
Thanks, Joey. The 6 nominees in mixed reality this year are each very different types of experiences and use cases. A meditation, data visualization, science, music, retail, and a teacher in the form of a conversational owl that flatters you. What makes this category exciting is, when you say you get to enjoy this from the comfort of your own home, they literally put the content into your home. And the nominees for Mixed Reality Experience of the Year are
Digivit 19 by Prefrontal Cortex, Developer of the Year nominee Felix Herbst, the engineer behind Needle Tools, brings a deep breathing exercise partner for patients with long COVID, and he provided guided meditation in German. Pan Studio, another fellow Dev of the Year nominee, Tristan John. Who among us have not learned to play a steel drum in your living room? You can even learn to play the Polly's theme, Calypso style. Climate, El Nino predictions. Poly winner Jason Marsh and Flow Immersive reminds us of the seriousness of climate change. Because data doesn't lie. And 3D charts rendered in front of you that you can transform with a voice command. It really brings home the fact that Mother Nature isn't messing around. AR Shopping, Ethereal Engine, also nominated for the T-Mobile Experience in Entertainment category, uses WebXR to put you inside an avatar and put a shopping table in front of you. Molecular WebXR. Have you ever wielded a molecule? How about two-fisted molecule wielding? From EPFL Switzerland, Molecular WebXR by Fabio Cortez and Luciano Abrieta allows you to study molecules up close and appreciate chemistry in 3D. Wool. You are going to go AWOL to play wool. With Niantic, Liquid City, and In-World AI's exemplary experience that opens a portal to the Redwood Forest in your living room. And in flies this friendly 4-time nominated owl to answer your questions. This one gives you a taste of the potential of mixed reality for edutainment.
And the winner of Mixed Reality Experience of the Year is Wool by Niantic, Liquid City, and In-World AI. Accepting the award is Diana Mendez. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I am so honored to accept this award on behalf of the Niantic team. I want to thank our partners at Liquid City, Le Polish Bureau, Future House Studios, and InWorld for their invaluable contributions. WAL represents a collaborative effort that showcases the power of the web, and we are excited to continue pushing the boundaries of augmented reality. Thank you.
Congratulations to the Niantic team. 3D empowers learning like no previous technology ever could before. We've come a long way from paintings, papyrus, and the printing press. XR lets us be inside of and grab, wield, and inspect information, which is why it imprints our memory spatially. Here to present what I consider to be our most important category is Education Experience of the Year, is industry veteran Renard T. Jenkins, president of SMPTE and I2A2. Welcome, Renard. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Julie. As you said, immersive education technology improves learning outcomes like nothing that has come before. We are 3D beings in a 3D space, and our minds naturally absorb information better in 3D. John Dewey, an educational reformer, once said, well, he said a lot of things, but notably, we do not learn from experience. We learn from reflecting on experience. Combining the words education and experience is powerful, as XR gives us new frontiers where we are reinventing learning. That's why I'm proud to be here at the 4th Polys to read the nominees for the WebXR Education Experience of the Year. And the nominees for Education Experience of the Year are Megaminds, I Have a Dream. Dr. King's speech in 1963 was before our time, but those immortal words helped change the world. Eric Tao's experience takes you back to the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, where a WebXR museum experience lets you see and hear about that landmark moment in American and civil rights history. Experiencia Montanza Riachuelo. The World Bank invites you on a flume ride through a sewer. What? That's right, but it's not as gross as it sounds. Jimmy Weinstein's team at the World Bank, who won a Poly in year 1, are back with the reinvention of the infographic. As you get a tour of this achievement in environmental engineering, the story of the cleanup of the Matanza Riachuelo River Basin in Argentina, molecular web XR. The complex shape of molecules is hard to appreciate in 2D, especially after you've been able to pick them up and look at them in 3D. This experience, built by Fabio Cortez Rodriguez and Luciano Abriada from EFPL in Switzerland, makes learning science memorable. Paleo, California. Now fancy another ride, this time through the La Brea tar pits. Why not? By Poly Award-winning anthropology professor Dr. Keith Chan, go back in time through a door of awesome WebXR shaders to Los Angeles in the Paleolithic 40,000 years ago. Dr. Chan himself narrates this tour where we get to meet the evolutionary forebears of today's animals and other extinct creatures. Wall by Niantic, Liquid City, and In-World AI. This mixed reality experience opens a portal where Wall, the owl, flies into your living room and perches on a branch. Our feathered friend conversates with you about the redwoods in this AI-driven experience and is nominated in 4 major categories. And the winner of Education Experience of the Year is Experiencia Matanza Riachuelo by Jimmy Weinstein's team at the World Bank.
Yeah, we're very excited to win this award, our second Poly, by the way. So very excited about that, and the fact that that we really love WebVR at the World Bank. I have to say, for us, WebVR means accessibility and more people having access to these technologies, and more inclusive, and that's a huge concept for us that we try to follow. And love seeing all the experiences be nominated here and the winners, and very proud of our industry. And then, I hope that getting these type of projects out there also means that people can look a little bit more into the VR for good and having an impact, and then maybe develop XR experience beyond gaming and entertainment, so we can all get to have a little bit more of a mark in this world. This project was a huge effort by the World Bank VR team, so huge congrats to Roxana Bravo and Maria Laura Ruggiero in the VR team at the bank. Also in Argentina, we also have the local team from Yarina Butlin and Carolina Criar and Maria Victoria Ojea. And then, of course, our partners at OC that really made us get to where we are now. So very, very much thanks for that. And for all the projects that will come in the future. So thanks to Police for putting us out here, and hope to see you around next year.
This is Looking Glass Go, a new type of holographic display that works without headsets, combining the power of generative AI with holograms. Our software turns regular photos into spatial photos. We do this by using an AI algorithm to imagine dozens of perspectives of that same memory. The Looking Glass Go then projects out millions of rays of light to bring that photo to life in the real world as a hologram. If you've got a newer phone with multiple cameras, you can use advanced techniques to push the limits and do even more. The Looking Glass Go can also run holographic apps, including one that's very special, because it can make ChatGPT holographic.
こんにちは。はじめまして。私はホログラムです。
For anyone who wants to go even deeper and make their own holographic apps, we've got you covered with plugins like Unity, Unreal, Blender, and WebXR.
I get really excited about these things, so you'll notice that I've lost my voice, but I'll make it really quick. I'm here on behalf of Looking Glass, but also on behalf of everyone in the WebXR community who's very grateful for events and situations like the Polys to showcase all the hard work of everyone who's making these experiences not accessible just in terms of accessibility itself, but also in terms of price point and in terms of actual like devices and education. So it's my pleasure to be here and to roll the clip, and then also to bring, I'm imagining, Patrick up for this next bit. Thank you.
All right. With our Lifetime Achievement Award, we recognize the people whose contributions make the 3D ecosystem possible. In our first year, we honored Ricardo Cabello, who maintains the ubiquitous JavaScript library 3JS. It was with Mr. Doob that we began our grand tradition of having each honoree choose the next. And he chose Brandon Jones, who made wide-ranging contributions as a spec editor and contributor to multiple standards, including GLTF. Then, Brandon chose Patrick Cozy for his work on the GLTF 3D model specification. And last year, Patrick became our first in-person honoree. Now, Patrick returns in the flesh, here to induct our fourth honoree into the pantheon of Poly's Lifetime Achievers. His company Cesium, the leading platform in 3D geospatial, is our sponsor tonight. Welcome, Patrick. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much, Julie. You know, it meant a lot to me to be chosen by Brandon last year, especially because it was my role in helping bring a widely used interoperable standard for 3D models to the world. And when I say role in, it must be acknowledged that the creation of any standard is a massive collaboration of talent across a wide domain of expertise with this shared goal and common purpose of creating a specification that is so flexible that it can be relied upon to produce the same result across any computing platform. Which brings me to my choice for the 2023 Lifetime Honoree at the Polys. Someone whose dedication is behind so many of these collaborations. He is the Vice President of Developer Ecosystems at NVIDIA, the elected President of Kronos, the chair and founder of the Metaverse Standards Forum, a founding fellow of Metal Traversal, the facilitator of Consensus, and the protector of the realm, my friend, Mr. Neil Trevett. So Neil, last year, come a little closer here. So Neil, last year in my award presentation, you referred to the GLTF 1.0 team as a band of brothers. And we wanted to bring those folks together to help honor you. So we have Remy, Yuli, Tony, and then a special shout out to Fabrice, who couldn't make it. So let's reel the real for Neil.
Nobody deserved that award more than Neil Trevett. Think about it. In 1997, he was already the president of the Web 3D Consortium, already doing work for the community, and already having a vision of 3D on the web. And I always admired his mastery of consensus driving and diplomacy, yet getting things done. Under this leadership, Kronos achieved a lot, and we owe that to Neil. So Neil, congratulations, and thank you for everything you've done with us and for us.
What can I say about Neil Trevett? Soft-spoken, articulate, super passionate and full of drive, and probably the calmest captain with a hand on the tiller that I've had the pleasure of working with. And I am so proud to know you. You're one of my favorite people in the whole world, inside or outside of technology. And I think you actually don't get enough credit for all the really amazing hard work that you do. Yet the outcomes of these things are technologies that people can use worldwide. And most recently, again, GLTF, which millions of people are using. So kudos to you. This is really well-deserved, and I hope to see you soon, Neil.
Hi, Neil. Congratulations. Really excited to see you get this award. It's a very well-deserved reward for decades of driving open standards and the culmination of the quest for the JPEG of 3D. It's so great to see individuals and industry collaborate to get there. Something that you've always championed.
Neil, when we first met, you already had been dedicating your time and energy to foster a safe haven for companies to collaborate. That impacted deeply the technology adoption the world is built on today. Please enjoy your well-deserved Life Achievement recognition.
Neil, I remember meeting you at SIGGRAPH 2001, where you were presenting to a tiny audience about your vision for mobile graphics. 6 billion devices later, you've changed the industry, you've changed the world. Not a bad start. Congratulations.
Neil, I wanted to congratulate you on this well-deserved Lifetime Achievement Award from the Polys. It has been and continues to be such a pleasure to work with you in GPU-accelerated standards and getting them into the industry. I'm looking forward to many, many more years of making the graphics industry better. So thank you and congratulations.
Hi, Neil. Huge congratulations on snagging the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Polys. I just want to personally say thank you so much for teaching me so much over the past 7 years. I'm really grateful to work with you, and cheers.
Neil, congratulations on being nominated and receiving this award. I just can't even explain how amazing and what all you have done for the open standards community and the amount of hours that you relentlessly put into all that you do within Kronos Group and Metaverse Standards Forum. So congratulations.
Hey, Neil, congratulations. This is fantastic and overdue, frankly. Congratulations on the Metaverse Standards Forum. I cannot understand how you can do 2 full-time jobs plus your day job. But it's a pleasure to support you in any way that I can. And you always, you're a star. Thank you for everything you've done for us.
Just congratulations, Neil.
So this is thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Ben. Thank you for everyone at the Polys. Really, this is sincerely is a deep honor for me, and particularly it comes from Patrick and all the folks we're going to hear from in post. They're the ones who did all the hard work. I was just helping to facilitate. But the best thing about working in standards is that you get to work with good folks, folks who share just a curiosity on what's going to happen next and a curiosity on how we can make it happen faster. So, and they also share an understanding of the importance of community and cooperation, to really make that stuff happen faster. And there's no better example of a community that has the energy and the passion to make XR and the web really happen in the world than the Polys family. I think you've seen that here this evening. So thank you. Thank you for this. Thank you for sharing your curiosity. Thank you for sharing your energy and your passion. It really makes a difference to the folks that are working in standards to get this recognition. So thank you for letting me be a part of the family, and it's a pleasure and a privilege working with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Nan. All right, I'm going to pass this out. And thank you.
Wow. How do we top that? Only Neil knows. Only Neil gets to decide. This December, we'll announce who you pick as your honoree. Heartfelt congratulations to you, Neil. All right, time flies when you're having fun. And now we come to the final award of the night, our top award, Experience of the Year. And it's perfectly fitting as we reach this milestone to have one of the most revered people in all of XR present our most prestigious award. Dr. Tom Furness is an inspiration to our whole community. He is a pioneer of the technology and one of the most venerable voices and its conscience. Tom's leadership as the founder of the Virtual World Society is the humanity-first approach that we need. We can, and indeed we must, harness the power of XR for the sake of humanity, its power to educate, to foster human goodness, to broaden empathy and understanding of each other. And you can play your part. We want you to be inspired to find your own path to use XR for good. Tom, thank you for being the voice we need when we need it, and for your decades of service as a founding father in this community. And thank you for presenting Experience of the Year, our auspicious 50th Poly.
Thanks, Julie. No one could argue that the web hasn't changed the world. In just over 30 years, it has grown to become the core infrastructure of how our society functions, socially and economically. It even powers native apps. WebXR is much more than a technical specification that facilitates a way to distribute XR content. It's grounded in the principles of openness that make the World Wide Web a success. It's that openness which created vast opportunity by lowering the barrier to entry, allowing anyone the opportunity to create and publish their content and share it where it can be accessed from around the world. As we usher in this new era of emerging technologies, this is more important than ever to keep this tradition of opportunity enabled by the web being open to everyone to make XR open and accessible to everyone. And the nominees for Experience of the Year are Hoverfit. It reminds me of that old joke, I just flew in and boy are my arms tired. Powering a hoverboard by cranking your arms to build and keep momentum as you face a track. Sure does make your arms feel tired, but it's an excellent workout. The Fitness Resort, previously nominated for the Full Body Ski Fit 360. Once again, makes exercise a premier use case for WebXR. And now, using WebXR for another type of exercise. DigiVid 19, this meditative German language app by Developer of the Year nominee Felix Herbst. And the team of Prefrontal Cortex works in both VR and AR. It is used to teach deep breathing exercises to treat patients with long COVID. It is designed as a repeatable program to help them maintain ongoing treatment to restore lung function. The Escape Artist. It's about time all of you young folks out there who never lived in a world where you needed to adjust rabbit ear antennas to stop the vertical hole from fluttering knew the plight of previous generations. This innovative, visually striking, immersive experience traps you in a writer's flat in the 60s where you need to find all the clues to solve this escape room puzzle by Paradosky Creative. Lol. Having talking owls fly into your room is the new normal, as is opening up mixed reality portals, in this case, to the Redwoods. This chatty little fellow charms you while he educates you.
For I shall transport you with my words to the wonders of the Redwood Forest.
The experience by Niantic, Liquid City, and In-World AI combines 6DoF mixed reality with conversational AI to personalize your learning experience and give you a taste of the future of edutainment. The Matanza Riccioleo experience. We all take environmental sanitation for granted, but we shouldn't. The story of the cleanup, the Matanza Riccioleo River Basin, told in this immersive infographic by Jimmy Van Steen's clever team at World Bank is a triumph of WebXR storytelling, an example of how investment in sustainable engineering is making strides in improving quality of life around the world. And last but not least, Dead Secret Circle. If you've ever fancied yourself as a noir gumshoe detective and you like solving murder mysteries and escape room puzzles, this intense and at times scary experience might be for you. Timmy Shorskud Koki's faithful adaptation of this Steam VR experience by Mo Bassam and Robot Invader should inspire developers and creators to port more formal native apps into WebXR. And the winner of WebXR Experience of the Year is The Escape Artist by Paradoski Creative.
I feel like you and I have been up here a lot today.
Yeah, not quite as much as you, Julie, but thank you so much, everybody. Yeah, thanks. I'm just about fully out of things to say, but the last couple of people on our team, I really want to thank our art director, Rai Sandrager, and our technical artists, Colin Freeman and AJ Jory. They're the reason the game looks as good as it does and is performant as it is as well. Those are two things you have to balance carefully. So again, just the reason the game is successful is that it is a representation of all of us. It's uncopyable because nobody else would have arrived there but this team. And I just want to say thanks, and I appreciate you all so much. And thanks to everybody here once again. It's a great honor.
There you go. Sure, more hardware. All right. Inviting my beautiful XR women ladies along here with me. And that's our show. Once again, the community has rallied and come together to help us produce the next generation of award shows. We're so grateful for all the love and support the Polys receives all year long. The last few years have reaffirmed the inevitable, that the era of immersive content has begun and every new medium needs an award. As the Oscar is to the cinema, the Emmy is to the television, the Grammy is to music, and the Poly is to immersive.
And over the next few years, the Polys is going to grow and evolve. We invite you to join us on our journey because we will be back February 23rd, 2025 for the 5th Annual Poly Awards, and we are here for it.
That's right, Karen. We are here for it. And before we say goodnight, we want to thank everyone who has been here for us. This night was made possible by our sponsor, Cesium, the 3D geospatial platform. Through their commitment to open standards and interoperability, their success sets an example for the entire industry. And a special thank you to Looking Glass for enshrining the Polys in holographic displays for our winners.
Yes, it takes a village to produce a show like this. And with our team, including our volunteers and the judges, those supporting behind the scenes in the green room, on our YouTube channel, managing the watch parties with the community, thank you to all of you for celebrating with us today. And a very special thank you to Marcia Carter and the Irwin family who are here tonight. Thank you for your support. And for envisioning this award show and bringing it together to the Poly's creator, writer, and executive producer, Mr. Ben Irwin.
And thank you again to our red carpet guests and presenters, some of whom traveled far to be here. Thank you to those in Engage and in watch parties around the world. Thank you to our studio audience for sharing this award show experience with us in person. You've been watching the Polys' 4th Annual WebXR Awards. Good night, everybody.